Hello, my name is Megan. If you're new to my channel, welcome back. If you're not by the title of today's video, I'm doing something a little bit different for me. I'm excited though. I'm gonna scooch over just a smidge, but I am going to be filming like an eyeshadow palette collection. I don't have a massive collection. I have 13 eyeshadow palettes though, so for like the normal average person, that's probably a ton. But if you're like super into the makeup world, that's probably not too much, especially compared to what we see online sometimes. But yeah, I just wanted to go through all my palettes, talk about them a little bit, give swatches, and just kind of do the whole thing. So this is probably going to be a decently long video. Grab a snack, grab some water, sit down with your eyeshadow palettes, and let's get into it. If you have any of the same palettes that I have, let me know, give me thoughts. I also am starting to think about what I want to do for next year. I do want to do some sort of like no pan left behind or like pan that palette sort of a deal. So let me know what you're thinking, what you're feeling maybe even as we're going through what my palettes are. So I have these in order from least number of pans to most number of pans, and this is just like my trios and above. So 3 through 15 is basically the number of palettes, the number of pans that I have. My watch won't stop buzzing because my lovely boyfriend is on a flight, and he yeah, also if the lighting is like kind of funky, it's because I was going to film this during the day but now it's dark, but it's okay because my boyfriend flew in from South Carolina to surprise me for the weekend, so that was awesome. But obviously because of that, then I didn't get any of this done. So totally fine, but without further ado, because we're like 2 minutes into this, let's go ahead and jump on in. So starting out with my 3-pan palette, I do have the Natasha Dena Biba palette. It's like the mini Biba though, because there was a 15-pan and I wanted that 15-pan so bad and I didn't buy it. But I did get this little trio, and it has 3 colors in it, obviously, because that's what makes it a trio. So we have Monroe, Elle, and Cocoa. So if I go ahead and swatch these out, I think I'm just going to swatch them and then show. I think that's going to be my best bet. I don't know. I don't think I've ever done a video like this either. So we're really just winging it here together today. But it's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. Okay. So these are those 3 shades. It is Monroe, Elle, and then Cocoa down at the bottom. They're super pretty and super soft. I do love a Natasha Dena formula, but honestly, I got this palette like 3 years ago in the Sephora, like, what was it called? Sephora does like the little like box sets, bag sets, whatever. And so I got that in one of those Sephora favorites boxes. There we go, Sephora favorite sets. And I've used it maybe like 2 or 3 times, but the colors are so beautiful, especially that Elle color would be a phenomenal transition shade. So I definitely need to actually use them. I think I'm also going to kind of put in on the side, because lighting isn't great, a flash video where hopefully we can get some like better angles. Okay, so the next palette that I have is a 4-pan. This one is from e.l.f. It is those bite-sized eyeshadow palettes in the shade Pumpkin Pie. It's one of those little quads. I used to have all of them, and I did not use them, and I pared it down to 2 and then just 1, and honestly I still never use it, so I probably should just declutter it at some point in time. But I don't know, if I'm being totally honest, I probably should declutter the vast majority of these palettes, but I just don't want to because they're pretty and I already own them. You know what I mean? Like, I probably wouldn't buy it if I were, you know, out and about today, but like I already have them and they're just so pretty. They make me happy, but I never use some of them. I don't know, whole thing. Okay, so these are the 4 shades on that bite-size palette. I don't think they have shade names, if I'm being totally honest, but I just started from like this. So this matte brown is on the top, then the shimmery copper, and then the dark matte brown, and then the other shimmery bronzy tone. And again, they're super pretty. I don't often reach into palettes for like just one color, but I think that's something that I do have to start doing. So honestly, I don't know, what are thoughts on like if I were to do some sort of like eyeshadow roulette where I do sort of like a no pan left behind kind of a deal, but I do it with like palette bingo style. I don't know, let me know. And again, like I said, if there's anything in here that you're like super excited to see me use, like let me know and I will definitely try to incorporate it in some sort of like no pan left behind or a pan matte palette, or just again like a palette bingo sort of a deal. I don't know, I'm up for suggestions, honestly. Let me know what you guys want to see. I'm excited. Then I have, for another quad, I have my Charlotte Tilbury Celestial Pearl palette. I believe the name of this one is Celestial Pearl. And it looks like this. These colors are stunning. They are like absolutely incredible. The dimension that they have is phenomenal. They're just like those, I'm not gonna say a clear base because they're not a clear base, but they have more of a clear base, and then they're just like glitter. They're great. I love them. They're so pretty. When I first got this palette, I used it on my eyes like every single day, and then since then I kind of laid off, and it's not because it's not gorgeous, it's because I just forgot about it, honestly. I try to keep my palettes all on display so I can remember that I have them, but some of them do go into drawers, and this is one of those ones that has ended up in a drawer, so here we are. But let's see, the 4 colors I have are in the order again, top to bottom: Prime, Enhance, Pop, and Smoke. And they again are just like the most stunning. It's literally just, oops, like glitter. Like they are shiny, like metallic, beautiful, 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 beautiful. Have I mentioned that they're beautiful? I need to start using this again, honestly, because this is jaw-dropping. I adore those colors. And I mean, it's an expensive palette. It's like $54, I think. But like low-key worth it if that's something that you're into. 100% recommend, 10 out of 10. I do know that was like the holiday packaging from a couple years back, so I don't know if if this was a limited edition quad or if just the packaging is limited edition. I have no idea, but if you can get your hands on it and that's the type of thing that you are into, do it. Next I have my Natasha Dena Peak. The colors are Aya, Jasper, Thorn, Amara, and Shine. And this is what it looks like. I got this in my BoxyCharm palette, or BoxyCharm box, back sometime when I was doing BoxyCharm in like 2020. And again, I remember seeing a BoxyCharm video and somebody got this palette and I was like, oh my god, I need that. It is stunning. And I honestly think I've used it twice, which is really depressing actually, because again, the colors are phenomenal. They're so pretty. But I'm not like, again, I'm not a huge color wearer necessarily. But I need to be more bold at times with my eyeshadow. It's fine. I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. But these are what the colors look like. This top one is a very like nude color. So it's not gonna show up my skin tone because it literally is my skin tone. But again, it's just, they're just so beautiful and like warm and fall toned, and I need to make a point to use this during the fall because I really have no excuse not to. They're stunning. Okay, so my hand is a little bit stained, but it's fine. We're just gonna make it work. Next I have another 5pan palette, and it is a Pat McGrath Eye Ecstasy palette in the shade, or in like the palette name is Subversive. And so we have Lapis Luxury, Gold Standard, Crimson Fire, Blue Blood, and Synthetica are the shade names. This is what the palette looks like. I honestly don't think I've ever seen these in store, but my friend from my freshman year of college, we were both super into makeup, and she would always come in and like look at my Natasha Dena palettes and stuff like that. Well, I guess Natasha Dena palette, I only had one at the time. But yeah, like we would just like always talk about makeup and like other stuff. We both were super into it. And so she did send this to me for my birthday after I moved away. And so every time I see it, I think of Brittany, and I really just appreciate the like thought behind the gift because these are stunning. But to be totally honest though, the way that these are labeled doesn't make sense for me. Like I can't actually figure out, I can't actually figure out which color is called what, but these are what they look like. And again, just absolutely like so pigmented, so shiny, glossy, fill in the blank with your verb or with your like adjective for it. These shadows are stunning. Ugh, my hand is starting to get a little bit red, but it's okay. So the next palette that I have is an 8pan, and honestly I've used it a few times. I don't like it, but in my head I'm drying off my hand, but in my head I'm just like, you know, I don't have a ton of colors, like I should keep this palette because it's super colorful and whatnot, but like I just think that the palette or like the colors are so like, they're just so dry. I don't know, something about them. And again, these are not colors I would wear if I were to wear colors. But anyway, this is the Artist Couture Caliente palette. Oh my god, it's just, it feels like I'm rubbing my finger in sandpaper. Like, not to be dramatic, but I mean, they're pigmented, don't get me wrong, but like, Jesus. Like, I feel bad saying this, but I honestly don't think I've ever swatched drier eyeshadows. Okay, so these shade names are Cultura Fuego, Vibras, Margarita, Rumba, Brio, Mamacita, and Sensual are the shade names. And again, this is what it looks like. Again, stunning colors. They are so bright, so beautiful. I love them. They are so pretty. It's just, I don't wear colors like this all that often as much as I would love to for the sake of owning this palette, and the palette is stunning. Just got eyeshadow all over my jeans. And of course I'm wearing light wash jeans today, so love that for me. Okay, so next up is my 9-pan palette, and if you are following my No Pan Left Behind series, which I started in October, that I started in August, you'll know this palette. This is my Colourpop Going Coconuts palette. It is a 9-pan palette. Here's, I guess, a little bit of a preview. I don't know, we're about halfway through this month. But anyway, this has 9 colors. They are Shredded, Palm Reader, Coolada, Lovely Bunch, Cocoa Crush, Shell Yeah, Get Crackin', DeCoco, and Netty. I'm not gonna be able to fit 9 colors on my hand, I don't think. Maybe. We'll see. I feel kind of bad though because like my hand is definitely getting stained. So these colors are not gonna show up as true as they normally would, but hopefully we'll be able to get the gist. So I originally loved this palette because of the neutral colors, right? I don't want anything too cool toned, don't want anything too warm toned, just plain neutral. And it was great for that, I thought. Except now here we are, I am wearing it just about every day because it's in my palette, or it's in my project, and it's just, they go on in the morning, like in the morning they go on, you know, neutral tone, and by the end of the day they are so gray. Like, I don't know what happens, but the pigment literally changes on my eyes throughout the day, and it starts off with a nice warm tone look, and by the end of the day it is gray, and I feel like I just look dead. It no longer matches my blush or my lip color or whatever combo I put on in the morning to match the neutral leaning warm tone palette, because then it's gray. So I don't know, I think that my No Pan Left Behind for this palette is really just telling me that I don't love it. I don't know. Maybe we're gonna do like a whole like declutter soon. I don't know. I don't want to, but I think it might be coming. I don't know. All right, then going into my larger palettes, I'm going to go ahead and swatch the Urban Decay Naked palette. This palette I bought in 2012, 2013. I don't know. I've had it. This is my oldest palette that I currently have. Yeah, this honestly, like, this is what it looks like. We're still killing it, if I'm being totally honest, having a grand old time. I am contemplating doing this Pan That palette style next year. So what are our thoughts for that? Do we think that that would be, no, what are our thoughts? Is anybody interested in that? I mean, again, you're getting to see all my palettes today. So, but I think this one would be fun to try to pan that palette because it's so old. And like, I mean, it's a great palette still. Like, the quality, the shadows are still so soft. Like, it's a great palette. I'm just wondering if it's time to like try to kind of get through that No Pan Left Behind style. I don't know. No Pan Left Behind style or like Pan That palette style. I'm down for either. Okay, here are the first 8 shades. So these ones would be Virgin, Sin, Naked, Sidecar, Buck, Half Naked, Smog, and Dark Horse. But like, my only concern though with this is similar to that Going Coconuts palette. Like, I just wonder if once I started using it, I would just feel like it was way too cool toned, and then at that point I've committed to like a no, or to Pan That palette sort of a deal. I don't know, but at the same time, like, I feel like this palette just needs to get a ton of love. I've had it for literally like 10 or 11 years, maybe even 12. But the flip side of that though is like, could I be giving love to some of my other palettes instead of using this one? But I don't want to get rid of it. I really do want to like actually use it and like put in some work on it, so, which is why I'm kind of thinking that maybe that's the vibe I go for next year. I don't know. Again, leave your thoughts below. Okay, and then here are the last 4, which are Toasted, Hustle, Creep, and Gunmetal. Okay, so this is our halfway point, I guess. We're 8 palettes into our 15 palettes, but the last ones have significantly more pans than anything we've talked about yet, so there's that. Going in next, I do have the Anastasia Subculture palette. I remember being so obsessed with this palette when it came out. Oh my, and this is the original one that's like super powdery. Like this is the Subculture palette. You can tell I've definitely put some use into some of these shades. But this is another one that I'm wondering, like, should I try to either like pan that palette or no pan left behind it? Like maybe I do a pan that palette and a no pan left behind next year. Like, and I would do it in the same video, so that way like we weren't like just filling up my whole month with stuff like this, because I do only post once a month. Sorry, once a week. I kind of like that idea though, actually, like of a pan that palette and a no pan left behind. I don't know, maybe, because I feel like that would be really fun for this, because I don't think that I could realistically like pan this palette in the year. I mean, if I like really committed to the bit, I definitely could, especially with how soft these shades are. But I'm not somebody that's gonna wear colors like this all the time. Like I will definitely wear a pop, like a grungy pop, especially on my lower lash line or something like that. But as far as like making this the vibe for the whole day, I don't know about that one, Chief. Ooh, I'm kind of excited to maybe do that actually. Okay, so this is the first 8 colors, and I hope that me showing you guys some of these is like getting a little bit nostalgic, because like I'm definitely getting a little bit nostalgic swatching everything. But these are in order like going across this way. Cube, Dawn, Destiny, Adorn, All-Star, Mercury, Axis, and Roxy. Dry the hand off. I probably should, you know what? I have this little towel. I'm just gonna use my hand towel next to me. It's clean laundry, but it's fine. I can just throw it in my bathroom as my next hand towel and call it good. Okay, so these are the last shades. They are Electric, Fudge, New Wave, Untamed, Edge, and Rowdy. And I do keep this palette and my Natasha Dena palettes in their original packing as well. I don't really know why I do that. Not everything else, just those Natasha and this specific Anastasia one. Next is another 14 pan palette, and this is from KVD Vegan Beauty. It is the Edge of Reality palette. Oops. I always try to open it like from the top, like right here, when it actually opens from the bottom. Throws me off every time. But this is what it looks like, and you can tell I put some use into that color right here, but honestly not much on the others. And again, this might be one where like if I try to like pan this palette, I do this one no pan left behind style, like I don't know. And obviously the no pan left behind style ones I could like rotate throughout the year. Like I wouldn't just do one palette no pan left behind, like that'd be weird. I will say though, like sticking my fingers in here, this palette is actually quite dry as well. But I don't think it's a bad formula. I think it's just dry. Ooh, I forgot that the shimmers in this one are almost like they're super malleable. Like, I'm not gonna call them a cream to powder, but like the powder is really, really flaky on them, which is causing it to like pick up kind of funky and like leave a weird texture behind in the palette. But they also are like a very flaky, three-dimensional kind of like, what am I saying, kind of shimmer, you know, like they're not just like shimmery, like there's definitely some flakiness to them. But hopefully you can see now, like that was literally untouched before, and now it looks like it's been put through the ringer. But anyway, these are the first 7 colors, and again, they're not going to be done justice without the flash on, because again, they are just, oops, very, very shiny, sparkly kind of colors, which are gorgeous. But again, it's not something that I use all the time. But I also, I don't know, like I get scared to like venture into like colors that I don't normally use. But it's funny because like I normally use gold. I can just use this gold instead, but it's a dark gold, you know. But again, I do have these colors and these palettes, and I do really love them. I think they're gorgeous. Like I would sit here and just stare at them all day long, but like I don't put them on my eyes. Like, am I okay? Do I need to be institutionalized? Am I clinically unwell here? What is happening? Which again is why, like I've said a million times, I think that it'd be really beneficial for me to do like a pan that palette in addition to a no pan left behind next year. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, hello, let me swatch the second half of this palette. Okay, and then going into the bottom row, these are the bottom 7 palettes. I know that blues are more difficult to formulate, but like this blue just came off really, really patchy. And same thing with like that gray taupe towards the bottom. It just really did not swatch well, but also I do know that not everything swatched by hand, like on a hand swatch, looks the same as it looks on the eyes. So I am taking that into account as well, but I don't know. Those two colors, weren't giving what I think they were trying to give. But I love the rest of them in that palette. Just saying. Okay, we are down to the final 3, and all 3 of these are Natasha Dena palettes, so I'm excited to give them their swatches and just play with them. I love Natasha Dena eyeshadows. Not that I don't love all eyeshadows, as you can tell I do have an array of palettes here, but I clearly have a special place in my heart for Natasha Dena. This is the Glam palette. It is a 15 pan palette. I was obsessed with this when it first came out. Like literally everything about this was stunning. I am very, very pale, if you can't tell. And I love that this was like a little bit neutral, had some warm tones, but was like mostly a cool tone palette. I just think that they're stunning. Okay, I don't know how much of that got cut out. I looked up and all of a sudden it said movie recording has stopped automatically. Love that for me. Okay, so I did manage to fit all 15 swatches onto one hand. I don't know that it's the best I can do, but here we are. Again, this is what they look like just in the crappy overhead lighting that I have that does not do them any justice at all. And obviously then here's also the side-by-side with the flash. These shades though are just so pretty, so like you have everything that you need, again, if you're looking for like a cooler toned palette. This was the same time that she released the bronze palette, and I remember going back and forth about like, do I want the bronze, do I want the glam, do I want to buy both? Obviously, I mean maybe not obviously, I ended up not deciding to purchase the bronze one. And as much as I've thought about that palette to this day, I'm glad that I didn't end up purchasing it. I just have so many warm toned eyeshadows, and over the years I've become less of an eyeshadow wearer. Not that I don't like still wear color on my eyes. I mean, I'm obviously wearing some today. This is also from my nail pan left behind, so that was a bad example. But I just kind of became more of like throw my bronzer in the crease and like get going. But I do love eyeshadows and I'm starting to get back into it. But I do just have so many other warm tones in my collection that like the bronze palette seemed a bit overkill and excessive, as stunning, beautiful, gorgeous, fabulous as it was. Has that been discontinued? I think it has. But next, and I'm so excited, I have not even swatched this palette yet. I'm so excited about it. I broke my no eye, but I couldn't not. I broke my no eye, but it's fine. There's the one thing that I broke on my no eye. It's okay, but I do have the Natasha Dena I Need a Warm palette, and I am so excited. You cannot tell me that this is not stunning. It is neutral leaning warm. It is just fabulous. It is a little bit peachy tones. It is straight up brown. I love this palette. It is stunning and I'm so excited to use it on my eyes. I literally haven't even swatched it yet, so like this is my first time going in and swatching it. Is right here with you, so you better feel excited about that because I am pumped. So I mean, you just and with how pale I am, because again, very pale, this is just pale girls drink. I'm so excited about this palette. I'm so excited. Okay, here are the colors. They are fantastic. They like are just the right amount of like warm tone without being like straight up like warm, you know, where they're like, we're not like getting into orange territory, but we are definitely on the warmer side of things, which is perfect for me because that's what I need in my life. Oh my goodness. I can see this being my like favorite palette. Genuinely, I am so excited to actually start using this on my eyes. The fact that I could just swatch it here with you guys, so excited. And honestly, I didn't even feel bad about breaking my no eye because I have been so good about it this year. I have saved so much money because I have not just been purchasing that this showed up and I was like, you know what? I need that in my life, and it's okay. You're allowed to adapt and change your rules sometimes because sometimes you just need to. And this is one of those times that I just needed to. You don't have to agree with me. It's my life. And that's my palette. Okay, and lastly, I have my Natasha Dena gold palette, not golden, which I did think about purchasing, which would have been so dumb because 10 of the colors are the exact same as the original gold palette. I got this back in like 2018 when it first launched. I remember being so excited. Oh my goodness, the colors are stunning. I will say I do prefer the palette that just came out, the golden palette. Not necessarily for the colors, but I like it better on like the white backdrop. I don't know why, for some reason it seems less aggressive on like the white backing than on the black backing. I don't know why, maybe that's just me. But yeah, I mean, you can see I haven't like put dents in this, but I've definitely given it some love. But yes, this is my first Natasha Dena palette. First, like, I mean, at that, like, Natasha Dena is now considered high-end, but like at that point in time, like Natasha Dena was kind of considered more of like a luxury palette. So this was definitely my first of that sort. And I remember just being so excited. I literally would just open it and stare at it because I thought that this was the most stunning palette ever, and it still is quite stunning. Don't get me wrong, but this palette's been with me through some times, let me tell you that. I think this is my new, maybe not. Well, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, this palette has been there with me through a lot of it. I honestly should have just started swatching on my chest. I'm wearing a good top for that, and oh well. Okay. And so this is the Natasha Dena gold palette, and as I was swatching all these palettes, I realized I have a ton of this color gold and this color brown across all my palettes, which honestly is why I think that this was like extra good for me, is also just like show you guys, like share with the world, but also just kind of see what I have like in front of my face time after time after time. But yeah, and back to what I was saying a minute ago with like the I Need a Warm palette, for whatever reason, like that palette to me is more neutral while still warm. It's not like gold, orange, warm toned, where this golden palette, or the gold palette, is that bright, bright gold. And at certain times I just feel like it's a little bit too dark for me considering how pale I am. So yeah, I don't know, I'm really excited about that I Need a Warm palette. Ugh, I cannot wait to actually use it. Okay, so that is everything. Those are my 13 eyeshadow palettes that I have in my collection. I'm so happy that I was allowed to sit down and swatch them out and that somebody enjoyed the video, hopefully. If you did, leave me a comment down below, give me a thumbs up, tell me what your favorite palette is that I have here, if you have tried them. Is there anything, like I've said a million times, like what are your thoughts on, again, I think that what I want to do next year is a pan that palette and a no pan left behind. So what are your thoughts? Let me know. But what are suggestions? But yeah, so with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I'd appreciate if you give it a thumbs up down below. Leave a comment if you feel inclined to do so. If you want to see more of me in the future, go ahead and subscribe down below as well. And with that being said, have a great rest of your day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.